Okay, here we go. This is for the programming exercise number 2. And for programming exercise number 2, we are told the following. We are supposed to write a program that does the following things. It will ask the user for two baseball team names. So from the first phrase, we know that we are going to have some sort of string variable um, that corresponds to the team names. We are to ask the user for the score for each team. So we're going to have two variables that are probably ints, one for each team. We are to display the team names with their scores and tell the user who won the game. We are also supposed to tell the user if any of these following things happened: if one of the teams had a low score, or if both of the teams had a low score. We are also told that we are supposed to have a constant integer um, for the low score, which is supposed to be the number 3. Okay, so we have everything that we need to start. So we go with our header files. Of course, I'm going to mess a bunch of times because um, talking and attempting to code is not my forte. So include iOS stream. So during the class for which this exercise corresponds to, we also talked about strings. So it is fair to assume that we will have to include strings. We're going to have include strings. We're going to have our using namespace ste because we're going to use this standard namespace. And okay, we are set for header files. We have the preprocessor directives. We have the library. Let's go for our main function. Function is going to be our good old int main brackets. And let's start with the variable declaration. We know that we have string. We can use, okay, it should be descriptive and all those things. If I would probably just use team 1, team 2, but I'm sure that some people could probably be annoyed at this. We are not given direct pointing of what the variable names should be. So I'm just going to use something that is descriptive, and I think that it is proper. So name 1 and oh my gosh, faster. And team 2 name. And then for the scores, so following the same type of name consistency. So we're going to go with team 1 score and team 2. And finally, we are asked to have that constant for the magic number. So constant. By name convention, usually constants are in all caps. So I'm going to do that for a low score instead of the magic number 3. Okay, so this is okay. And we're going to assign it the value 3. All good. So variables done. Let's start with prompting the user for information. Just add a node so the code is prim and proper. So prompt user for information. And actually, I think I can just copy that. No. So cout provide the name for teams. And there are two ways to do this. You can use the cn getLine if you have spaces between the name. For instance, I don't know baseball teams or anything, but For instance, if it was a soccer team like Manchester United that has the space between the two strings, I would use the get line function for that. But for the sake of simplicity, and for more compact code, because I think the goal for this particular program is for you guys to play with the if else, and else if, and nested statements. I'm just going to focus on the simple stuff. Um, so I'm just going to put C in, and then it's team team one name, and team two name. Here, set. We're also going to get their scores. I actually have this done already, so just copy paste. So scores are done. We have all the information that we need to proceed with the program. So now let's get to what you should actually learn from this particular lecture, which is how to use if, else if, and those kind of conditionals, different situations. So the first case that we're going to test is the case in which team one wins. So case one is going to be team one wins. So it's going to be pretty simple. So if the score for team one is greater than the score for team two, this is the condition in which it wins. But we also want to test for who has a low score, if only of the teams has a low score. So we need to include some sort of, um, hmm, why isn't it opening my brackets the way it should? It's weird. Something happening here. Yeah. Hmm, interesting. Okay, let's just proceed. So, yeah, we are told that we are supposed to announce uh, who won and with what score. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to see out team with such name, one with a score of such score versus the second team with its second score. Um, Pretty simple. But now we need to test if any of these teams actually have a low score. So I'm just going to nest another if that tests if both of the teams have a low score. So this will be case in which team one wins, but both have a low score. And that's it. If this condition is true, it will just output that both teams do have low scores. Then we want the case of what happens if only one team has the low score. So since team one is assumed as winning here, and if this condition is not true, we can default to the fact that team two is the only one that can have a low score. So that's just it. We just add the second condition in which team two is the one with the low score. And it's pretty straightforward. So once we are done with this, we can just close this guy up. We are done with the first case, in which um, team one wins. And for team two, it is exactly the same code bit, um, except that instead of starting with an if, we're going to use else if. And we're going to just reverse some of the relational operators. So where we used to have team score 1 greater than 2, we're going to use the opposite, and the same is valid for the rest of this code bit. Just swap these guys around. So there we go. And just add a little note. This is case 2, which is the case in which team 2 wins. Pretty simple. So we are left with the case of a tie, which is the one that we haven't considered yet. But we already have the case 1 in which team 1 wins. So when our program is being run, if this returns false, it goes to the next code segment. If this returns false, which means that team 1 did not win, team 2 did not win, we should default to the third case, which is just a tie. That's it. So just a simple else statement, and we will default to the teams are tied. There you go. And since I'm using Visual Studio, before I terminate my program, I need to add the system pause and the return statement, and we will be good to go. There we go. This guy, let me build the solution. All right. And let's run. So here I have my output window, and we are told to provide the name for 2 teams. So I'm just going to call my teams the cats and dogs. Cats, dogs. And let's see a situation for case 1. So case 1, cats win. Just a straight win. Let's not tell. And okay, we can put dogs as a low score. So let's put cats with a 6 and dogs with a 1. The cats won with a score of 6 versus 1. Team dogs has a low score, so code is fine and dandy. Now let's try a situation in which team 1 still wins, but they both have a low score. So cats, dogs. Let's put cats with a 3 and dogs with a 1. Team Cats won with a score of 3 versus 1 by Team Dogs. Both teams had low scores. The code works, everything is fine. Now let's just test a tie just because, why not? Provide the name for 2 teams, so cats, dogs. What are their scores? 6, 6. The team's tied with a score of X. And finally, let's test a situation in which, now let's test that middle block of the code for the else if statement. So again, we have cats, we have dogs, and let's put cats with 1 point, so low score, and dogs with 6. Team dogs won with a score of 6 versus 1. Team cats had a low score, so it is being recognized by the middle segment. The middle segment of the code is also there and happy and dandy. And I think this is it. It's pretty straightforward. Let me just check. Yeah, I think that's. Aha, I think I should probably add here a check for the low scores. Yeah, I should add a check for the low scores. So let me cheat a little bit. Just copy paste this guy here. Let's see if this works. I mean, I don't have to put any. Yeah, all good. Let's test it out. Oh, actually, let me see. So it has a low score. Okay, let's test this out. Oh, okay, they're correct. Okay, let's just build a solution. Debugging, and I want to restart. Okay, solution is built. Let's provide, so let's go with, kind of need to give you guys this. Let's bugs for scores, let's do 1-1. Perfect, both teams had a low score. What do I have here actually? Let me add another bit in case, so this for team 1. Let me add the case for team 2, team 2 being the one with a low score. See out. Let's cheat our way, copy paste these guys because just why not? Team 2 had a low score. Okay, I think that now in this situation they are all covered because in the previous cases, since one of them was already winning, and if the first condition was not verified, it defaulted that only one of them could have a low score. But in this case, since it's a tie, no, actually, in terms of logic, no. I don't need this because if segment, because they're tied, it only needs one check. Yes, correct. That's all I need. Okay. Yay, logic. On the spot. That's what happens when I don't prepare coding before. If this is verified, they both, if what, only one of them has to have a low score, which since it's a tie, they will both have a low score. So yeah, here you have a bonus of what goes through my mind when I'm trying to think about these conditions and what needs to be tested out. I'm so sorry for this uh, slight lost last moment when I get in my own head with the programming logic. Um, that's it. It's all covered, and I hope it helped you guys to also understand how to do this. If you want me to check your code, if you want to send me your code snippet, or if you are having trouble with your program, just shoot me an email and I will leave some notes on your code and send it back to you. Thank you so much.